Imagine a landscape where the Earth reaches 140 degrees Fahrenheit, a place where rivers do not exist, and rainfall is an event that might happen once every 3 years. By all modern biological logic, this is a dead zone. Yet human beings thrived in this exact environment for over 100,000 years. They did not build aqueducts, they did not drill massive wells deep into the bedrock, they did not possess modern irrigation technology. Instead, they relied on a perfectly engineered botanical vessel. Today, agricultural departments and multinational chemical conglomerates spend billions of dollars fighting droughts, engineering fragile genetic modifications, and draining our dying aquifers. Meanwhile, these same authorities mandate the chemical eradication of the exact plant that naturally conquered the desert. They have classified nature's ultimate survival tool as a noxious weed. They spray synthetic poisons on an organism that requires absolutely zero rainfall once established. It thrives in pure dead sand. It yields pure biologically filtered hydration that can sit directly in the blistering sun for half a year without rotting. And that is precisely why the modern agricultural complex had to bury its legacy. Deep in the Kalahari Basin, anthropologists and archaeologists have extensively documented the survival strategies of the San people, recognized as one of the oldest continuous human cultures on the planet. For millennia, they navigated vast, scorched expanses of land that would kill a modern human in a matter of days. Their secret was not a hidden oasis. It was a pale, hard-shelled orb scattered across the seemingly barren dunes. When historical explorers like David Livingstone traversed the African interior in the 19th century, they wrote in absolute astonishment about vast, arid regions completely devoid of surface water that were nevertheless teeming with indigenous populations and thriving wildlife. The secret to this impossible ecosystem was a single sprawling vine. The native populations would gather these green-striped orbs, stacking them in massive piles at their temporary camps. These were not supplemental foods, they were the absolute foundation of desert existence. They provided a guaranteed portable water source that required no pottery, no infrastructure, and no purification. This is the Tsamma melon, botanically classified as Citrullus lanatus variety citroides. It is the ancient, wild, uncorrupted ancestor of the modern watermelon. But calling it a watermelon is a profound insult to its biological engineering. The Tsamma is a survival technology perfected by millions of years of evolutionary pressure. When a Tsamma seed germinates, it does not wait for a sprinkler system. The vine sends a highly aggressive taproot system, diving deep into the subterranean layers of the earth, extracting microscopic moisture from seemingly dead soil. Above ground, a single resilient vine produces dozens of hard, dense fruits. They are roughly the size of a large cantaloupe, with flesh that is firm, white, and entirely devoid of the artificial, bred-in sugars we associate with modern commercial fruit. Here is the mechanism that makes it a biological miracle. The internal matrix of the Tsamma is packed with complex pectins. Unlike the fragile, watery cells of commercial fruits that rupture, ferment, and rot within days of being harvested, the Tsamma's cellular structure traps water molecules in a highly stable, gel-like suspension. You can sever a Tsamma melon from its vine, leave it sitting on the scorching desert sand, and return 6 months later. It will not have lost a single drop of moisture. It will not have spoiled. It is a sealed, sterile, living canteen. When cracked open, it yields up to 1 liter of pure hydration, flawlessly balanced with essential electrolytes, magnesium, and potassium. It provides exactly what the human body requires to prevent dehydration and heat exhaustion, but it does not stop at water. The seeds hidden within that dense flesh are a supreme nutritional powerhouse. They boast over 30% high-quality protein and are densely packed with essential fatty acids, particularly linoleic acid. Ancient peoples would dry the seeds, roast them over open fires, and grind them into a highly nutritious, energy-dense flour. When the desert killed off the game and withered the other plants, the Tsamma provided both water and bread. So a critical question must be asked. As global aquifers run dry, as massive rivers turn to dust, as the agricultural sector faces catastrophic crop failures due to unprecedented droughts, why is this ancient, drought-proof powerhouse completely absent from commercial agriculture? Why are we fighting massive legal wars over water rights in places like California and the American Southwest, while completely ignoring a crop that produces water from dry sand? The answer exposes the core vulnerability and the hidden agenda of our entire global food system. The industrial agricultural machine does not value resilience. It values total dependency. Over generations, commercial breeders took this invincible desert survivor and systematically stripped away every single defense mechanism it possessed. They bred out the complex pectins to make the flesh softer and redder. They bred out the dense protective rind to make it easier to slice. Most destructively, they injected massive amounts of sugar into its genetic profile. The result is the modern commercial watermelon. It is a bloated, fragile, sickly sphere of sugar water that will split open and rot mere days after leaving the field. But more importantly, the modern watermelon is fundamentally weak. It requires massive, continuous inputs. It needs intensive irrigation, demanding hundreds of gallons of water per plant. It demands synthetic nitrogen fertilizers to reach its unnatural size. It requires a constant flow of chemical pesticides because its natural immunities were entirely bred out of it. The Tsamma melon needs none of that. It cannot be patented. It does not require a billion-dollar irrigation infrastructure. It naturally thrives in poor soil without a drop of synthetic fertilizer. If farmers in drought-stricken regions grew this instead of water-intensive, fragile cash crops, they would no longer be beholden to the chemical companies. They would no longer owe their livelihoods to the conglomerates that control the water supply. Therefore, the commercial agriculture sector declared war on it. If you look at modern agricultural extension databases across the United States, particularly in the South or in parts of Australia, you will find this miraculous plant listed under a different name, the citron melon weed. It is officially classified not as a drought solution, but as a noxious, highly disruptive weed. It is categorized as a devastating pest that competes with patented, heavily subsidized, water-draining cash crops like cotton, soybeans, and commercial peanuts. The chemical industry has formulated specific herbicide regimens designed entirely to eradicate wild melon vines. University agronomy departments publish extensive, peer-reviewed guides detailing exactly how to poison it out of existence. They utilize harsh agricultural chemicals, spraying thousands of gallons of toxic herbicides onto the earth just to kill a plant that naturally pulls water from the desert. They frame its incredible hardiness as a menace. The very fact that a Tsamma seed can remain dormant in the soil for years, surviving drought and chemical burns, only to sprout vigorously when conditions are right, is treated as an agricultural nightmare. They teach farmers that nature's ultimate survival tool is a threat to their yield and therefore a threat to their profit. They took a biological masterpiece that sustained human life for 100 millennia and turned it into an enemy. They swapped a plant that guarantees survival for a plant that guarantees endless consumption. They traded absolute water security for a fragile braking system reliant on depleting aquifers and fossil fuels. But the genetics of the Tsamma cannot be easily erased. It still grows fiercely in the harsh margins of the world. It still stores pure, untainted water, while the commercial monoculture fields crack and turn to dust. It survives the herbicides. It outlives the engineered crops. The solution to our impending agricultural crises is not found in a corporate laboratory. It is not going to be sold to us in a patented seed packet. It is sitting exactly where it has been for hundreds of thousands of years, waiting for us to remember how to use it. Every time you witness a failing harvest, every time you hear about municipal water rationing, remember that the earth already provided the answer. They made it illegal to let it grow in the fields. The knowledge of the biological canteen is still out there. It survives. And now you know it too. If this vault opens something for you, subscribe and hit the bell. Every like and every share helps preserve the wisdom they are trying to bury. The next vault opens soon.